I found this incredible Beauty and the Beast stained glass intro scene fabric at my local Hobby Lobby, and when I saw it, I knew I had to create a corset top depicting the iconic scene from one of my favorite Disney movies. So let's go grab some of that fabric and make a corset top. Come on! Almost forgot. Gotta grab you. Let's go. So as you saw earlier, this is the base fabric we're gonna use. And then I got this for the lining fabric because it kind of matches the blues. Look over here. Yeah, see that? That's nice. So that's the outer and there's the liner. And then I also got this interfacing. So we'll use that. And I got some boning. So let's put together a corset. First thing I gotta do is whip out my pattern and cut out the pattern pieces. I got this pattern on Etsy and we'll link it below for you if you would like to give it a go as well. Once the pattern was completely cut out, it looked like this. So now we gotta cut it onto the fabric. So let's quickly talk about why my pattern pieces are spread out so sporadically. Well, it's because I want to fit certain images on certain parts of my corset. I'm pre-planning which pictures will go on which part of the corset, so in the end I'll hit the major parts and not have random cutoffs and repeats on my final corset. I know this is a pretty inefficient way to use fabric, but I'm kind of more worried about aesthetics right now, so this did require me to lay the fabric out flat and cut out each side individually instead of cutting it folded over and cutting two at once, like you see me doing here. I also repeat this process for the lining fabric as well, until I have 7 pieces from the main fabric and 7 pieces from the lining fabric that look like this. All right, check it out. We got the whole pattern cut out, and these are the pictures that I went with for each piece. And then there's our lining. So boring, cool. All right, it's time to move on to the next step. What's up? It's the next day from that clip where I said time to move on to the next step. I literally said that and then turned off the camera and crawled into bed, so yeah, we're gonna keep going right now. Next step, we have to put the interfacing on the wrong side of the main fabric. So I guess I'm gonna iron it on. I watched like a quick video, so I think that's what you're supposed to do with it. I've never used interfacing before, so yeah, let's do that. And yeah, just keep pressing on. This process was super easy. All I had to do was line up the wrong side of the fabric with the interfacing pieces and press it on with the iron.
Assemble.
The pinning process was pretty easy. I just pinned all the pieces down, right sides together, until it looked like this. Ta-da! Wow! I also repeated for my lining. Now it's time to sew all the panels together. Once both sides were sewn together, I had to open the seams on the main fabric with the iron. Now that the seams are flat, I have to sew them shut so they can act as channels for my boning. This part required a lot of focus from me because I had to measure the channel width to ensure it wasn't too wide or too narrow for the boning as I went. Okay, we made it through our first channel. Can you see that? Focus. Focus again. It's really hard to see, which is good, but there it is. Now I just gotta do, here's the other side, all of the rest. So I'll check back with you when that's done. Okay, we've got our channels. Some of them are better than others, but I think for my first time, it's not too bad. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can see it right there, kind of. Now we have to cut the boning to size and slide them in. Once all the channels were sewn in, I had to insert the boning, making sure to measure out each piece, taking into account that the bottom and the top have seam allowance, and I don't want to sew through boning, of course. All right, let's finish this thing. Next thing I had to do was make some little loopies that would allow me to lace up the back. So I cut out a strip of fabric, folded it in half, and turned it right side out. I cut it up into tiny pieces that I could fold in half to make little loops. Pinned the loops to the bodice and sewed them in place. Finally, I could sew the lining fabric to the main fabric. Pinning them together, right sides facing, making sure to leave a gap so I can turn it right side out at the end. Once it was all sewn together, I turned it right side out and stitched down the last little opening. And with that, the top was done. All right, gang, we are done. We finished the top. Dang, does it look good? Look at that. That's crazy. What the heck? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in watching me struggle to sew more, I do have a playlist you can check out. If you enjoyed, stick around, subscribe. I make stupid things all the time, so definitely come hang out with us again. That's it. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.